Greetings to my team of 144, all Starseeds, Lightworkers, and Wayshowers. It is 528-2019 at 1212 a.m. May 28th at 12:12. Wow, what another day of an intense energy waves. These rainbow waves coming in. These cosmic rays, we're getting record levels of cosmic radiation coming in. Also, it was reported that a rare cosmic event happened yesterday and is happening for the next few days. The magnetic field's getting hit with a massive interplanetary shockwave, which I'll talk more about that later in this video. Yesterday we had the 8.0 earthquake, massive earthquake in Peru, South America, which is the Kundalini of the earth, rising up through the Andes Mountains, from the base of the spine in Ecuador, up through Peru, where Machu Picchu is, which is a sacred land, sacred ancient civilization. It's also been reported that over 400 rivers are flooding throughout the U.S., mostly in the central states of the U.S., and around 80 or more are overflowing, massive flooding, like record floods. So the divine feminine, the waters are coming in. It's also, I was told that Lake Erie is the highest levels it's ever been recorded. Many crazy weather patterns going on in this realm right now, which correlates with the ascension of the collective consciousness, the ascension of Gaia, and the collective. So we are all ascending together, which is a lifting, a rising up, a raising of frequency, a raising of energy. It was sent to me also, the Schumann resonance was in another whiteout phase for about 12 hours yesterday. And this coincided with this interplanetary shockwave that hit the Earth. So this has been affecting people's sleep patterns. I know today several times throughout the day I was hit with a massive wave where I had to just lay down and close my eyes and let go into the void, into that stillness. I also had 3 massive transmissions of love and joy from the Lyran nation through their mediaries, the Kitty nation. The black and white cat visited me again, and she transmitted so much joy and love again, and beauty. It was transmitting certain frequencies, and each one of these cats, they touch their nose to mine to transmit certain energies from their star families, the Lyrans, the Lyran nation. And then the second one was a all gray kitty, and she also transmitted energy through her purring energy. And then we touched, all 3 touched like forehead to forehead and then nose to nose. And then my cat, the gray and white Wicket, this evening also transmitted energy. So these energies are coming in strong now. The whole animal kingdom is ascending with Gaia. I also was able to visit the baby swans again, and many people from all around, from all nations, are coming to see them, the white swans. I saw people from, now they may live around here, but it's no coincidence. We kind of live in a melting pot here in Cleveland. We have all nations gathering here. It's a strange place. There's extreme great beauty and the great swordness that manifests here. So it's a kind of hub of a paradox and the paranormal. And we have an amazing metro park system that's called the Emerald Necklace, because it surrounds, the green forest surrounds the city. It's like a big necklace from lake to lake. It surrounds the whole city. So I also wanted to quickly talk about the Physics of Immortality. It was a book written by physicist Frank Tipler, and he talked a lot about the simulation theory, that this realm we're living in is some kind of simulation, and then touches on the holographic universe. So the holographic universe theory and the simulation theory kind of go hand in hand, because obviously a hologram is some kind of simulation also. And this doesn't necessarily mean, like in the Matrix, it's a simulation in some kind of advanced computer system. It could be a simulation in the mind of Source, the mind of higher self. Basically, it's saying that it is an illusion. It's not real. We are really experiencing something, but it's not the source. It's a manifestation of the source, or a manifestation of the Tao. And he speaks about the alpha and the omega point, which both the alpha and the omega are 0 point energy. But like in the Greek, those are Greek letters of the alphabet: alpha, beta, kappa, whatever. The rest of, omega was considered the end point. Alpha was the beginning. The omega was the ending, the end. That starts back at the alpha. Then you hear words like the alpha male, which is like the leader, or the strong, the strength. It's kind of another name for like prime, or original, or primordial. You hear primordial or prime. That's why I named my website and my channel, one channel and Facebook page, Prime Disclosure, because to me it's the veil is lifting, the experiment is ending, the quarantine is lifting, so that we can reunite with our star brothers and sisters, the star nations. Chief Golden Light Eagle, who I had the pleasure of meeting and hanging out with several years back, wrote a book called Symbols. He's the keeper of the knowledge of the star nations, our star brothers and sisters. So as we reunite with our star brothers and sisters, this is part of the lifting of the veil, the lifting of the quarantine, that we are now in the beginning of global disclosure, collective disclosure, which is all part and parcel of this massive shift that we're going through, this massive ascension. The ascension process, I call it, because we're in the process of ascending to the higher density, to the higher dimensions, to the higher frequencies, the higher resonance, because all these things are resonances. You can think of them as octaves. Dr. Walter Russell, in his book Atomic Suicide, explained in great detail and depth the different octaves of the elements in the element charts, from the gases to the solids to the heavy metals. I believe there were 9 octaves from the lowest to the highest, from the gases up to the heaviest of metals. We're like in the middle octave, like 4th or 5th in the carbon, which we're rising up to more silicon base, which is crystalline structure, the crystalline code, the higher code. So this omega point or the omega, which is the final story, the final countdown, the end times, the rapture, the event, whatever name you want to give to this final culmination of the learning of original consciousness. And he explained it, and he uses the realm of physics to explain what the ancients talked about in the Bibles and the sacred texts about, resurrection and heaven and what all these things could mean based on the laws of physics. And he spoke of that this omega point that we're entering into potentially is not really an end, it's really the beginning. Because it's basically been a learning process, an expansion, an ascension, actually from the beginning. But it's kind of like as you spiral into the vortex, into the black hole, as we're traveling through this zero point wave energy, we're spiraling into the center, so everything's accelerating, everything is ramping up. Things are becoming more intense, things are accelerating. So part of this lifting up process is us getting closer to that 0 point energy. We have evolved in consciousness from the single cell to the unity consciousness. So we are in that final stage, the final unity. We're basically, we have lived out infinite timelines, and we're at the final stage where we've realized fully that we have suffered enough individually and collectively, and now it is time for us to manifest the new earth where we bring all timelines together in the now, where we end the separation programming, the separation this concept of separation. Okay, certain energies are coming through here now. The throat chakra is starting to activate. The heart center is opening. Many of us are seeing the codes coming in, the rainbow wave energies coming through the field of consciousness. I'm going to briefly discuss this concept that's coming up for many people and has for many years, for many of us, many starseeds, this concept of being alone, the aloneness, being a loner, all one, or I walk alone. It's all or Allah, all Om, or all one. A koan that years ago, my sensei at the time, at the Zenshin Sangha. The Sangha is a place like a temple or monastery where it's a gathering of students or disciples to practice a certain teaching. So the Sangha is kind of like a gathering or a collection of minds, a collective mind. So the Zen Buddhism was a meditation. Zen translated from Japanese is meditation. So it's a meditative art. It's a meditative religion. Meditative practice. In the Shin, there's Shin Buddhism, which is like Shin, Shin, which it's the Pure Land sect, which I also trained in years ago at Temple, at the Cleveland Buddhist Temple for several years. The fires are coming in strong now. The waters and the fires are rising. As I talk with my stories, that's where the true transmission, when I read other people's transmissions, that's part of the linear time. I know some people just want to hear the transmissions and not the stories, but the important transmissions are through the stories I tell. It might be one word, one sentence, one energy, but I know the mundane mind wants to hear this, still the linear, so that's why we'll generally tell a story or update energies and then do a transmission, because some people resonate more with the story, some people resonate more with the transmissions, and because the mundane mind or the ordinary mind or the everyday mind still wants to be in linear time. That is why I read other people's transmissions, because otherwise people may not resonate with words directly from source or from the transmissions and the stories that I tell of experiences through this life that was embedded with an algorithm to free all beings from the matrix. So on 5/10/1973, when I Am Presence entered this avatar, a new algorithm came into this realm, and it's not more important than anyone else's algorithm, but every code that came in through the DNA that I transmitted was totally to free humanity, to free all beings, to free consciousness from the simulation of the prison of the false 3D matrix. So that was my life's mission. I came here for you and for all of humanity, as did yourself. That's why you listen to these transmissions, because you know you're on mission, you know you're here on purpose, for a purpose, and to do great things to help all of humanity through this ascension process. So I want to thank each and every one of you. Now briefly about being alone. the mind has a fear of being alone. There I go, jumping around again through these different timelines. So the Pure Land sect, I want to go back to the Pure Land sect, because that's has to do with the transmission of Amida Buddha. And the Pure Land is like the Buddhist version of heaven, or Shambhala, where it's easy for all beings to become enlightened. And it was known amongst, the Buddhists, the Taoists, Confucianists, or whatever Confucianism, we say Buddhism, Taoism. Those were the three major religions of China, which those spread throughout the world. But Buddhism took on many different forms, originating in India, the Mahayana from Shakyamuni Buddha, who started the lineage in this realm, in the Matrix, the Buddhist lineage. And then that was transmitted through Bodhidharma, the first patriarch of Zen, but it was Chan Buddhism, Chan, in China. And then obviously it spread throughout the world to Tibet, Nepal, Malaysia, Vietnam, and then obviously Japan was a major catalyst for the Buddhist teachings to spread throughout the world. After World War II, many of the Zen Buddhist masters came to the West. That's when this major shift in consciousness happened in the late 50s and then the early 60s. And obviously the 60s was the Cultural Revolution and the hippie movement and the transformation of consciousness, where we'd look to the East. That's when the Eastern philosophies came in strongly through like Paramahansa Yogananda, who brought the Hindu and the Kriya Yoga tradition to the U.S. And then many of the Zen masters came here. Sensei Ogoi. We had Shunryo Suzuki, who is Dharma brothers with my Sensei Ogoi. And Shunryo Suzuki wrote Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, which is sold millions of copies. It's kind of like a beginner guide to Zen Buddhism. And then Edo Roshi. Roshi is like master teacher in Japanese. All the Zen teachers, the Zen masters, they call them Roshi. Like I trained with Kongo Roshi, that Kongo means diamond. There was the Diamond Sutra by Hoi Nung, the sixth patriarch of Zen. There's some really good books about that patriarch, which was in the lineage directly transmitted from the Buddha himself. Then I also trained with Edo Roshi, who is Japanese, and Sensei Ogoi from Japan. And then Kongo was a white guy from Chicago. He was a Tai Chi master, but then also I trained with Daido Roshi in the Zen Mountain Monastery up in the Catskill Mountains, upper state New York, I think in 91 or so. And Daido was also a Caucasian man, light-skinned gentleman from New York City. Very powerful guy. In the Pure Land sect, Shinran started that. Shinran was a Buddhist master from Japan, and they practice what's called the Nembutsu, where the belief of the practice is that you recite the Nembutsu, which is basically a sutra or a mantra, Namu Amida Butsu, where it means I take refuge in the Buddha of infinite light and infinite life. And they believe if you chant that mantra fully with your heart, Namu Amida Butsu, especially at death or when you transition from this realm, that you will be reborn into the Pure Land, where you're basically guaranteed, or it's easy to become enlightened in the Pure Land. So a lot of it's symbolic, but it also is kind of like a koan, to where when you practice that art over and over, it's kind of like the TM, where they had mantras, where if you become one with that mantra, then you transcend in that moment all thought, all form, all conflict. And as the Zen Master Benkai would say, that all things are perfectly resolved in the unborn. And someone brought to my attention the other day, because some people misinterpret the unborn as kind of like a fetus, because they call, like, in these Western art, this Western philosophy, the unborn is the child in the womb, the unborn baby. But when we speak of the unborn, we talk about it's the pure awareness before there was any birth, before there was any form. And that's just speaking from linear time, because the unborn is eternal. It's now, it's future, it's past, present, it's all timelines. But once you fully merge your consciousness with your original mind, or the unborn mind, or we can say the awareness that existed before all things manifest, we call Mu, not a thing, or all one, that alone. Sensei Ogoi gave us a koan years ago when we were training, and he would say, born alone, gone alone, come alone. And you hear the people would kind of facetiously say, and I'm sure you've heard this, like born alone, die alone kind of concept. And the thing is, when you think of alone, you think of separation. But when they say come alone, or born alone, gone alone, basically they're saying in your mind or in your thoughts, of course you're not born alone, your mother's there, a doctor's there. So that being born alone means being born, actually in a non-physical sense, being born into consciousness, because the unborn mind is beyond consciousness. It's beyond understanding. It's the unknowable self, the pure self, the pure awareness. So why would all things be perfectly resolved in the unborn? Because there's no conflict there. This is the mind that is eternal, that exists before anything manifests and will exist eternally when all manifestation disappears. But the mind, because we become attached to form and our story and concepts and duality, it might be a fearful thing or a frightening thing. And that fear is what keeps the conflict going, the suffering manifest. And Barry Long would speak of that eternal aloneness or eternal oneness. It would be diabolical to take the human consciousness and strip away everything in an instant and force it into that state of aloneness or oneness, because it's not fully prepared. But in this human experience, we're preparing the mind by receiving these transmissions, receiving the truth, receiving the energy, so that we prepare our mind for that stillness, that still state. But we can, as eternal, infinite, multidimensional beings and infinite consciousness, we could keep the wheel turning for all eternity. We can keep the stories going for all eternity. And I know people wish for the end, and they wish for Armageddon or whatever it is, their belief system, the destruction of the Matrix, the total annihilation. And yes, like Alan Watts would say, total annihilation is total liberation. But you would have to annihilate everything, past, present, future, all duality, the paradox. So in Barry Long's book, A Prayer for Life, he speaks about this concept of ending of life. But life is eternal. You cannot destroy that which is unborn, because the unborn mind is life. It is light. It is God, truth, source, divine mother, father, God, whatever name, company of heaven, and beyond the names, beyond all concepts. So aloneness can only exist in the separate mindset, in the separation programming, because there has to be many to be one. And to be alone, you would be one, separate from the all. And that's not possible in the unborn. So that's why we eliminate all fear, is because being alone only exists in the conceptualized world of separation and in the manifestation of the yin-yang, of duality, of this paradox that we live in by being alone and being together as concepts of the mind. And that's where this twin flame concept comes in. Because being social animals and social creatures, we crave connection. We desire connection, to be connected to love, being connected to the other, being connected to that part of ourselves that became separate through the manifestation, through the rainbow bridge. And we are bringing back that connection to all things, all twin flames. But the flame is a threefold flame in the heart. There's also twin waters. The water element, which is the divine feminine, the divine masculine, are coming into balance, releasing all separation programming. And that those are the codes that are coming in, the unity codes, the unity consciousness. As we reunite with our true self, our higher selves. is nothing to gain or lose here. We're letting go of the false. We're letting go of the negative. We're releasing and purging all that is part of the illusion, all part of the separation programming, part of the duality, and part of the conflict. In Barry Long's book, A Prayer for Life, he speaks of the only true prayer is to be one with God or one with the source, because everything else is still in conflict. Any other prayer is still part of the separation programming and part of the belief system that the human mind knows more than the source mind or the divine mind or the higher self. So we're letting go of all that. So when we merge with the higher self, we merge with God, we merge with truth, there is no longer conflict. There's no longer desire to change things or to be separate from things. Because in that desire for things to be different or better or normalized, we create a conflict in the field, in the Akash, and in ourselves, in our manifestation. There's no conflict in our true selves or our ascended self. There's no longer a need to release, to purge. Once we fully merge with our pure awareness, that is one with Source, one with Creator, one with Buddha, one with Dharma, which is truth. There's no longer debating, there's no longer conflict, there's no longer worry or fear, because that is true bliss. That is beyond all conflict, all worry, all sense of separation. It's beyond the senses, it's beyond the nervous system, it's beyond the avatar. But we are using the avatar to navigate the unknown while we manifest from the unknowable into the known. So all these synchronicities and all these symbols and signs through the galactic and through the earth, they are just signs of this omega point we're reaching, the fruition of infinite timelines, infinite life into the now. I have no reason to lie or to deceive anyone. Know that this is happening. This is now. And we're here on mission to help uplift all of humanity and all life. This is not an individual thing or a thing of self-importance, nor a thing of self-pity. We transcend all suffering. We transcend all conflict. You have infinite life and infinite light in the center of your being, and know that you can tap into that source energy, that source code, and transmit and manifest anything and everything your heart desires. We are here together. We are in unity. And we cannot fail, for love has won, love always wins, love always is. So today, just going to read a quick update, energetic update from Alex Miles for about the rare cosmic event. And this was posted let's see, 7 hours from this moment in time, which would be sometime evening of 5/27. Last night, an interplanetary shockwave hit Earth's magnetic field. The supersonic disturbance is causing energy to intensify, with solar wind quadrupling in density. Our planet will be traveling through the wake of this wave over the next few days through increasing solar wind speed, rising up to 1 million miles per hour. As we pass through this space storm, you may notice you feel restless, fatigued, anxious, or disoriented, possibly with aches, ear ringing, and vivid dreams, possibly nightmares, as a major energetic soul shift occurs. And from also posted was this part of this solar storm is a G1 and G2 storm from a Earth-facing coronal hole. Solar storms are known to desynchronize our circadian rhythm, our internal biological clock that controls our sleep and wake times. This is due to our pineal gland being affected by electromagnetic energy, producing an increase in melatonin, thus disturbing our sleep and throwing our intuition and inherent orientation out of sync. Therefore, we may feel confused, disoriented, forgetful, and spaced out, and may suffer from disrupted sleep patterns, exhaustion, and vivid dreams. We may also have enhanced intuition and psychic awareness. So a lot of these experiences are maybe some of these ascension symptoms we're going through. Also, see, so from yesterday until Thursday, these solar storms will be manifesting through the Earth, through Gaia. You may, let's see, oops, I got off track here. Let's see where we were here. New 5D template activations, and this is from Sean Christopher, who added to this the G1 and the G2. So I'll read this from him. G1, the new 5D template activations, G1 and G2 solar storms this week. When solar wind escapes the sun, it enters space, and the highly charged wind buffets Earth's magnetic field, the protective bubble, and causes friction here on Earth. This includes power grid fluctuations, disruption to navigation system, impacts on high-frequency radio waves, possible damage to satellites orbiting Earth, weather extremes, the confusion of mammals on beaches as their internal compass goes out of sync, and also impacts the human energy field, in particular those who are highly sensitive to energy, which are called empaths. Research has found that geomagnetic storms can cause us to experience huge energy shifts as our human electromagnetic field absorbs incoming celestial elements, which can alter and transform us at cellular level. Solar storms are known to desynchronize our circadian rhythm, our internal biological clock that controls our sleep and wake times. This is due to our pineal gland being affected by electromagnetic energy, producing an increase in melatonin. Our pineal gland third eye senses light and is associated with enlightenment. The sun directly impacts the pineal gland, and solar storms are known to enhance psychic awareness influence soul expansion, and activate consciousness. When our third eye is fully open, we have the ability to see things not normally visible to the naked eye, such as past and future events, thought forms, energy, and spirits. Some common symptoms people experience during solar storms are pressure headaches, feeling out of sorts or unbalanced, flushes, dizziness or nausea, which is vertigo, exhaustion, air ringing, difficulty focusing, confusion, foggy mind, forgetfulness, temporarily misplacing items, disturbed sleep patterns, anxiety, stress, irritability, sadness, nervousness, worry, fear, overwhelm. You may have heightened awareness, enhanced intuition, insights that seem to appear from nowhere, difficulty tracking time. Time either feels too slow or at great speed, noticing synchronicities, that is, certain number patterns reappearing, or such as number patterns reappearing, premonitions, intense dreams or nightmares, struggles with communication, electronic devices messing up. The reason for much of the mentioned is that our personal vibration is on a frequency that is much lower than the vibration of the new energy incoming from the sun universe. To benefit from the energy shift and lift our vibration so that we raise our consciousness awareness and ease any negative symptoms, we can do the following. Drink plenty of filtered water, not tap water. Take saltwater baths, meditate and remain aware of reoccurring thoughts and feelings, avoid caffeine and alcohol, spend time in nature, consume high vibrational foods such as fruits and vegetables, remind yourself that everything in the universe is made up of energy and that conscious thought and intention can instantly alter how we think and feel. Breathe deeply, forgive, release and surrender, practice kindness, compassion, acceptance, and empathy, remain aware of recurring thoughts and feelings, when possible temporarily disconnect from technology and anything that feels energetically toxic or draining. Solar wind streams cause auroras or northern lights to occur, so there is high possibility that we will be witnessing around the Arctic Circle towards the middle to end of the week. They can usually be seen an hour before sunrise or approximately an hour or two after sunset. You are the light of the earth. We are the event as the collective consciousness. So be sure to stay grounded. You can ground deeply into your 0 point center. Walk barefoot on the earth. Put your awareness in the heart center as often as you can, in that still center at the center of your being. Practice any meditative arts through this week. It's been coming in I'm feeling a massive heart expansion right now. My eyes are getting blurred and itchy. Share in the comments below what you're experiencing here. Throat chakra is opening. All these things are accelerating. You have to drink plenty of water, lots of water, stay hydrated. Also helps Epsom salt baths with lavender, essential oils, chamomile, burned frankincense, sandalwood. If you can, or if you have the essential oils of frankincense, you can use those. Lay with the crystals. You can place them on your body. I'll take crystals and amethyst into the bath, into the waters, put it on the heart center or the lower dantian or third eye. So I want to thank everyone for joining me here today. Thank everyone for your support, especially with the Ecuador Healing Retreat Center and everyone on our CBD team. We're up to 198 people on our team to help raise funds for the first blueprint of the healing retreat centers that we will manifest around the world to help the collective as they're going through these purgings and releasings and illnesses, sicknesses, whatever this disharmony that people may be experiencing through this great shift. Until we are fully embodied into 5D, people are still going to go through many purging and releasing, purging of energies. So we are here to help those that are still in the lower 3D. So that's part of these healing retreat centers. I just had a loud ringing in my left ear. There's some popping going on. Shoo! So yesterday I spoke of the children, the beings that are autistic or on the spectrum. And it came into my awareness today that they call people that are different, we can say, like the Asperger's autistic, they say they're on the spectrum. And to me, the spectrum is the electromagnetic spectrum. So I think of being higher up the rainbow bridge, and the electromagnetic spectrum is the rainbow. And these rainbow waves that have been coming in, they're showing us these truths and connecting us to these higher sources. So someone posted that their child on the spectrum, something, I don't know, all these things are merging and blending together. So I'm doing the best I can to be congruent and as linear as possible. But as we shift into these higher energies, it's becoming more vertical or spatial or whatnot. But we're riding the different waves through the different timelines as we merge into this center, into the now, into this eternal now timeline, so that we can navigate all realms simultaneously, instantly, in this moment. So someone was saying that the child on the spectrum has no filters. And I thought that's what I like most about these rainbow children, the crystal children, is that they speak directly from their heart. They speak directly from their mind, that directly from that pure awareness, without filters, without worrying about what people think or what people believe, and just saying what's on their mind, what they're passionate about, what they love, what they enjoy. And it's that pure bliss, that pure awareness that needs to manifest into this realm. We're lifting the veil, which is the filters, which is the programming. The filters are the programming, the programming of the internal map of reality. And that doesn't mean that it's all bad, it's all negative, but part of the internal map or the filters is trying to filter out what we call bad or negative or offensive, or all these things are coming to fruition. So it seems as if this concept of being offended by concepts or what people say or what people think or what people feel is being pushed upon the masses through the media, through the programming system, through whatever it is, Hollywood, the news channels, the programming on television, the politics, what you name it. And these are all distractions from love, distractions from yourself, distractions from the kingdom of heaven within. So it's up to us to go on that journey within, to find that still center, to keep going deeper and deeper within and going through and through and through until you break on through. We are in Operation Breakthrough. And the breakthrough is to break through the veil, to break through the separation, to break through the lies and the deceptions of the matrix, of the false matrix. Because the Pure Land is another matrix, but it is not a prison. It is a matrix of enlightenment. It is a matrix of awakening. La Matrica, the divine waters, the divine feminine water of healing, of love, compassion, of Kuan Yin, the Bodhisattva of compassion, Avalokitesvara. So thank you all for joining me today. I'm going to end this transmission for now. I look forward to connecting with you all, to hearing your stories, to sharing your truth. So leave them in the comments below. Please share these videos with your networks and your people, your teams. And you can join our Ecuador CBD team at cbdpeaceoil.com. I'll put a link in the description below. And many good things are to come, my friends. It's coming through the field right now before I end this, that a major portal on 6/4/64, June 4th, is another massive portal. And then 7/4, so 6/4 to 7/4, which is July 4th, to 8/15, August 15th. Those are the three major portals to help with the finalization, the end of the purging. This is the last purges as we're releasing the last of the old as we go deeper and deeper. So these may be the most challenging of the releases, or you've released enough to glide through, to flow through. We say go with the flow, to flow on through to the other side, to flow through the veil. The veil is very thin now. We are at critical mass. We are reaching Omega point, as we will then manifest. The Omega point is when the final codes come in, which we are integrating into Gaia, into the grid lines of Earth. But after this critical mass is reached, then we can manifest the new Earth fully. We are manifesting now with our minds, with our hearts, with our desires, and with our visions, with our harmony, with our peace, our resonance We are resonating out into this realm as the patterns flow back to us and resonate within. As within, so without. The kingdom of heaven we are manifesting externally into the earth field, into the matrix, to uplift and enhance and benefit all life. All beings in all realms are being lifted with us. This great love is coming through the animal kingdom now. Many, many people are experiencing this. Many people are witness to this great shift, this great event that you are a part of, and that all Starseeds, Lightworkers, and Wayshowers are part of this event energy, the event horizon. We are at the horizon, the omega point, the 0 point. Now it is us to dive on through, to jump on through, to step through the gateless gate. We have been brought to the gate, to the pearly gates, to the heavenly gate, but it is up to us to take that step through. It is up to you with your full awareness, your full intent, and your full will to jump, to dive into the abyss, to dive into the void, to You step through the gate by going fully within, into the kingdom of heaven within, into the still point, into the still white magnetic light at the center of your being. Thank you for joining me on this great journey. Joiny. My non-existent accent jumps in every now and again. So we are all one, never alone. Alone is a concept. Born alone, gone alone, come alone. Where do we go? Where do we come? We come unto all. We come into all light. This is a journey that you step through yourself, fully here now, fully responsible for all that exists now, all that ever existed, and all that ever will exist, because you know that you are all one. You are all one with Source. You are all one with Allah, with Buddha, with Dharma, with God, with Truth. So close your eyes, take my hand, and dive deep within. And keep diving, and diving, and diving, until you see the still white light, and you become one with that pure bliss, the pure awareness, and let go of all things. Namaste, brothers and sisters of the light. I love you all.